Hey guys, what's up to the movie this time for a horror thriller film? The Invitation, directed by Karen Kusama. If I pronounce any names wrong, combo proper pronunciation. Written by Phil Hay, Matt Manfredi. It stars Logan Marshall Green, Emeyatsi Corinialdi, Michael Huisman, Tammy Blankard, Aidan Lovekamp, Michelle Kruziak, Mike Doyle, Jordan Vilasuso. I don't know how to pronounce names at all. Some of these people are weird. Some of these people really have last names are hard to pronounce. Jay Larson, Lindsay Burge, John Carroll Lynch, other people. This movie is centered around a house party. It's centered around like a man attending his ex-wife's a dinner party at his former home with like his new girlfriend, and like his ex-wife also had got remarried. And well, and also a lot of other people at that dinner party, a lot of I think like possible like friends, I guess. And while there, he discovers that there may be something a bit more. He's a bit suspicious about this, and he believes there might be something a bit more, I guess, sinister happening. And we have our movie. Now, when this movie was coming out, I mean, when this movie was about to be coming out, I didn't really have any reviews posted on it. I heard it was being released on demand. I was thinking, let's just hope for the best. Sometimes stuff released on demand is crap. There is some good stuff released on demand as well, and also we have good Netflix original stuff. You get the idea. And when I saw, and there were some things that were turning me off, like Phil Hay, Matt Manfredi. These people don't get a very good rap as screenwriters in the industry, so that left me a bit turned off. Karen Kusama, I mean, you can go either way with her. I mean, Girl Fight, she got a lot of praise for her film. Jennifer's Body got mixed reviews, and it definitely, I mean, I was just thinking, let's just hope the best. And of course, when the reviews were getting good, I kind of wanted to watch it. It was actually playing Animal Draft House, and I said, my mom said I see it on demand instead. So I thought, okay. And luckily, when I saw it on demand, it actually was pronounced in 60 by 9 widescreen, because I hate when it's like 4 by 3 full frame or like it's zoomed in. I freaking hate that. I always do. So yeah, seeing HD and full widescreen looked really nice, by the way. Nice presentation. And after watching the movie, I freaking loved it. It is one I saw it a few months ago, but I still love the hell out of it. And it's my favorite films of the year. Yeah, I mean, let's just get out of the way. This is a horror thriller. This is a thriller that really succeeds at being that succeeds at that. The horror aspect's not really there until maybe like the third act, but I mean, the horror aspect. I mean, there is some times where you feel a bit unsettled, a bit like questioning of what's going of the situation, like what's going on with certain characters or anything along those lines. You just become a bit suspicious and sometimes a bit unsettled by it because you don't know. Because I mean, when you're introduced here, like you just like they start building character as it goes along, and you start learning more about these characters and you kind of start becoming more questioning of them as in general. One thing is for sure, there's some pretty good suspense whenever it's there, but let's just get to some stuff here. They do a very good job balancing these characters. There's a lot of characters in the movie, and they spend a lot of time in the first, I guess like almost like the first half, I guess like almost like the first half, setting up these characters, kind of establishing their purpose for being there, establishing them as actual characters rather than just like throwaway people, and actually giving them actually a bit of a personality, which I definitely liked. Like all these characters kind of actually had some bit of personality to them, which I thought was really nice. Also, I like the use of the setting. This film is set in just one entire location for most of the film. It's really it's set just in an entire house, so there's like almost like a sense of claustrophobia in some way. I have to say it was pretty good. There's almost like a sense of like, oh, like you're like it sets the eerie. It helps with making the eerie atmosphere work very well. There is a sense of eeriness in the atmosphere, and you'll start like you'll be like unaware of certain things, and then when certain things start coming into play, and everything starts coming together as a whole, you become more understanding of it. It's hard for me to go without spoiling it. One thing I also would say, it's a thriller with a lot more layers to it, which is really nice to see. And I have to say, these writers really can impress me with what they can do with the script. I thought the script was very good. It gave the character, there's a bit more of a human element to it, and I have to say, it really does good at building character and also exploring some more themes of it. Like, I mean, it's hard for me to really go into it without spoiling it, but let's move on to it. Also, I have to say that the acting was pretty good. Logan Marshall Grant thought did very good. He was always a guy who was always unaware. You really believed him as a paranoid guy, but also when he got angry, I thought he was really believable there. You really see him. You really can tell that he's just like a very hurt man with something in his past that's really just eating him inside. And I have to say, he had a very good emotional scene that really got me. I have to say there's also some pretty good emotion in this movie too. Um, I also have to say like hold on, I'm trying to find some other people. I need to look this shit. It's really annoying when you really don't have much to go on sometimes, but what can you do? I really have to say that they did very well with like also. I mean, the setting is very nice. I mean, you really get a sense of claustrophobia, and it really works for what it does. Um, Tammy Blankard, I thought did very good as well. You really believe her as a person who's a bit like is a bit like it kind of puts you off a little bit as a person. Because I mean, you believe that she kind of, like she's a bit. You can tell she's a little bit like I don't know if I would say broken, but just a little bit not really your average person, I guess. It's hard to find the words sometimes, but she did pretty good. Everyone in the cast does a good job. I mean, no, there's no bad performance to be found. And they do a good job balancing these characters and establishing them. I have to give a lot of credit to the director for that, and, of course, the writers. They do spend a lot of time setting up these characters in the first act, but I will say after that it starts picking up a lot more and it improves, in my opinion. I do have to say that there's also some pretty good camera work as well. So there's a lot of good tracking shots, and there's actually like this one scene where an actor says some stuff about something that awfully he committed in his life, and this is done one continuous shot, and the camera just tracks him and even starts zooming in on him. And I have to say that was a pretty impressive scene. I have to give a lot of credit to the actor for doing that, and really it works pretty well. Characters get a very good time to shine. But another thing about the layers in this film deals with themes of like involving like grief, and it also kind of makes you question of like what's the best way to deal with it. And one thing I really liked about this movie, like the finale of this film is very well done. I really like the first last 15-20 minutes of this film were great. Very good suspense. Very, very good. I mean, it gets freaking chaotic. It gets pretty damn. I mean, like as shit just starts going down, everything starts coming together. It's just very, very shocking. Also, I have to say, I mean, they kind of make you like, it's really hard to say without spoiling it, but I have to say, it worked very well. And it has like a shot that ends, I guess, ends on an ambiguous note. Like, here's something I really like about that. I mean, when I first saw the film, when I first thought about the film, I thought, it kind of makes sense, but it's just hard for me to hit with it. And then as I thought more about the film, it clicked with me more that, oh yeah, this actually makes a lot of sense, why they ended on that ambiguous note. Because it talks about discussing, they kind of make you ask the question of what's the best way to deal with grief. This is what it's mainly about. This is where the layers really come from. You really see these people, the main character and his ex-wife are really suffering from grief, and they're trying to find, and they have they're kind of, you can say they're kind of struggling to deal with it, and they're trying to find ways to deal with it. And it kind of makes you ask that question, like, what is the best way to deal with grief? But there's no direct answer to it, which I thought was a really good idea. I mean, is there really one way to deal with grief, especially with, and also especially involving what you're grieving over, how bad can it really affect you, and what's the best way to deal with it? I would have to give credit to that. If there's any problems I have with this film, it's not really a big problem because they do use this time effectively, but this can be a problem for some people. It kind of bothered me a little bit, but I have to say I was never bored during this time. Like the first 50 minutes, all they really do is start building up the characters and establishing them, and establishing what could become basically and also establishing this one plot point that really makes that kind of starts leaving people unsettled. That starts kind of a bit of the a bit of the tension to kind of kicks it off in some way, or helps I guess somewhere around that time I think it did pretty well. See, it's the first 50 minutes, but I'd be lying if I was saying I wasn't engaged at the time. They also show some flashbacks, and they don't reveal everything until later on in the film. They build characters as they go along, and they start revealing more details as it goes on. And I thought it was a pretty effective idea because it gave me a better understanding and really understand these characters more as people and not just typical horror thriller characters, those kind of people. They actually have more layers of depth to them, which I really appreciate. Like I said, man, these writers are really good at what they can do. That's all I meant for you, huh? The only films I've seen from them was Ride Along, and I thought that was crap. Well, that was bad, not awful, but yeah, I have to be really impressed by it. And yeah, I really did like the last 15-20 minutes. I thought it ended on a very good note. It is pretty shocking, but damn, it was so damn good. Great suspense, good camera work, and also it's just very good paced. It is very slow paced in the beginning, but I think it picked up really after that. And I was still engaged during those first 50 minutes. So that really says something. One thing I really love about this movie is its layers. I really do love how more layered it is, involving involving it. Also, yeah, involving horror thriller. I don't want to say it's kind. I guess it's kind of scary in some ways, or a few like some jumps, but not like jump scares. No, nothing like that. Just a bit more like, oh yeah, you're frightened by something and you jump because that's a bit of like a natural response, something like that. Yeah, I was really amazed by what they did here. I mean, wow. I can't say anything more. The cast is great. I also like this film has a lot more layers to it. I love the last 15, 20 minutes of it. It has... I really can't deny it. It does start off slow, but it just gets better as it goes. It just picks up from that, and it really works. It has some very good surprising emotion, and it has some good layers. Involving with themes of, like, grief and... depression, I guess? I don't know. When everything comes together as a whole, it works. It's just overall, it's very sad. I was very satisfied with it. Hell, I freaking love this movie. I want to rent it and watch it again, actually. Hell, I want to buy it. If you guys haven't seen this movie yet, I really recommend you do. Oh, crap, it's dying. I really recommend you do. I think it's really worth watching. It's a very good thriller. I'm going to give The Imitation a 5 out of 5. I'm really happy I saw this film. I really recommend you check it out. Anyways, guys, my review for The Imitation, comment below what you think about it. If you've seen it, what's your favorite thriller this year? I still haven't seen Hush. I think this might be my favorite, but we'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. Crunch out for more videos.